70 million years ago, in what is now the Gobi Desert, something walked the Earth that would confuse scientists for half a century. Not because it was small, or hidden, or rare, but because nothing about it made sense. Its arms alone stretched over 2.5 meters. Its claws were longer than a grown man's forearm. And when the first fossil hunters unearthed it, they didn't know if they'd found a dinosaur, a giant turtle, or something science had no name for. This is the story of Therizinosaurus, the scythe lizard. The year was 1948. A joint Soviet-Mongolian paleontological expedition was combing the Nemegt Basin in southern Mongolia, a region already famous for producing some of the richest late Cretaceous fossil beds on the planet. What they found didn't fit any known dinosaur group. Massive, curved claw sheaths, some over 70 centimeters long, alongside long, slender arm bones. There was no skull, no legs, no tail, just these enormous limbs and their terrifying claws. In 1954, Soviet paleontologist Evgeny Malayev formally described the find. He named it Therizinosaurus kiloniformis, from the Greek therizo, meaning to reap or to scythe, and kiloniformis, meaning turtle-shaped. Malayev genuinely believed, based on the limited bones available, that he might be looking at a giant turtle-like reptile, a bizarre marine or semi-aquatic creature that used its claws like flippers. He was wrong, but it would take paleontologists nearly 40 more years to figure out just how wrong and just how strange the truth actually was. The specimen Malayev worked from is catalogued today as MPCD 100/45, housed in the collections of the Mongolian Academy of Sciences in Ulaanbaatar. It remains the holotype, the official reference specimen for the species. For decades, this was almost all science had. Forelimbs and those infamous claws. No skull, no hips, no feet. The claws themselves are almost absurd in proportion. In life, each one would have been covered in a keratin sheath, like a fingernail, making the working claw even longer than the bony core preserved in the rock. Some estimates put the full sheathed claw length at close to 1 meter. For comparison, that's longer than the claws of any other animal, living or extinct, ever discovered. For a long time, nobody could agree on what these claws were even attached to. A slow-moving giant turtle? A bizarre new type of crocodile? It wasn't until more material started surfacing, and until scientists began comparing Therizinosaurus to smaller, more complete relatives, that the picture started coming together. The breakthrough didn't come from Therizinosaurus itself. It came from its smaller cousins. Through the late 20th and early 21st centuries, paleontologists described a series of related animals from Mongolia, China, and the United States. Animals that clearly belonged to the same strange family. Genera like Segnosaurus galbinensis, Erlikosaurus andrewsi, Bapiosaurus inexpectus, Falcarius utahensis, and Nothronicus mckinleyi and Nothronicus graphami gave scientists something Therizinosaurus never offered on its own: complete skulls, hips, legs, and tails. These relatives revealed the family's body plan: a small head on a long neck, a pot-bellied torso, powerful hind legs ending in 4-toed feet, and in every single one of them, those same oversized claws on the forelimbs. Suddenly, Therizinosaurus made sense. It wasn't a turtle, it wasn't aquatic, it was a theropod dinosaur, a member of the same broad group that includes Tyrannosaurus and Velociraptor, that had evolved away from meat-eating entirely. Museums often display mounts like this one to help visitors visualize what Therizinosaurus likely looked like in life. It's worth being precise here. No complete Therizinosaurus skeleton has ever been recovered. Mounts like this represent the broader Therizinosaur body plan, scaled up and reconstructed using better-known relatives, an approach that is standard practice in paleontology, but worth knowing when you look at a museum hall. Here's where the story gets genuinely strange. Therizinosaurus belonged to a lineage of theropods, dinosaurs whose ancestors were exclusively carnivorous. Nearly every other theropod on Earth, from Allosaurus to Velociraptor, was built to kill. Compare this. A typical carnivorous theropod skull. Deep jaws, blade-like serrated teeth, built for slicing flesh. This is the ancestral theropod toolkit. Therizinosaurus and its relatives abandoned that toolkit almost entirely. Their skulls were small relative to their body size. Their jaws housed small, leaf-shaped, peg-like teeth. Teeth built not for tearing meat, but for stripping leaves and vegetation. Some species may even have had a horny beak at the front of the snout, similar to modern birds, to help crop plant material. In other words, somewhere in their evolutionary history, an entire branch of meat-eating dinosaurs quietly gave up hunting and became plant eaters. Therizinosaurus is the most extreme, most exaggerated result of that transition, an herbivore built on a predator's skeleton. So, if Therizinosaurus wasn't hunting prey, what were those enormous claws actually for? This remains one of the most debated questions in dinosaur paleontology, and researchers generally point to three competing and possibly overlapping explanations. The first is feeding. The claws may have functioned like hooks, used to grab and pull down branches, tree limbs, or clusters of vegetation, bringing food within reach of that small, cropping mouth. The second is defense. Living during the late Cretaceous alongside formidable predators, including tyrannosaurs sharing the Nemegt ecosystem, a slow-moving herbivore would have needed a deterrent. A swipe from arms this long, tipped with claws this size, could plausibly keep most predators at a distance without the animal ever needing to be fast or aggressive. The third is display and social signaling. The possibility that exaggerated claw size served a role in intimidation, courtship, or communication between individuals, the way many modern animals use exaggerated physical features that aren't strictly necessary for survival. Most paleontologists today suspect it wasn't a single function, but some combination of all three, a multi-purpose adaptation shaped by millions of years of a very unusual lifestyle. Based on comparisons with more complete relatives, Therizinosaurus is estimated to have stood around 5 meters tall and stretched close to 10 meters in length, with a body weight potentially exceeding 5 tons, making it one of the largest theropods of any kind, carnivore or herbivore, ever to exist. It likely walked on 2 powerful hind legs, with a long neck raised to browse foliage well above ground level, not unlike how a giraffe forages today,
despite the two animals being separated by tens of millions of years and entirely different evolutionary paths. And increasingly, paleontologists believe this animal wasn't scaly at all. Feather impressions found on smaller, closely related species strongly suggest that Therizinosaurs, Therizinosaurus included, were covered in a coat of primitive hair-like or downy feathers. Picture, then, not a reptilian monster, but something closer to an enormous, clawed, feathered ground bird with the silhouette of a dinosaur. Therizinosaurus occupies a unique place in the story of dinosaur evolution. It demonstrates something that often surprises people. Dinosaurs were not a fixed template of scaly killers. They were an enormously diverse group, capable of evolving in directions that seem almost contradictory. A carnivore's lineage producing a gentle giant browser, armed not with teeth built for killing, but claws that may never have struck another animal at all. It's also a reminder of how science actually works. From a set of confusing bones misidentified as a giant turtle to a fully reconstructed picture of a feathered, claw-bearing herbivore, the story of Therizinosaurus is really the story of paleontology itself. Incomplete evidence, patient comparison, and decades of careful correction.
Somewhere beneath the sands of the Gobi Desert, more pieces of this animal may still be waiting. A skull, a complete hand, a hip bone that finally puts every question to rest. Until then, Therizinosaurus remains one of paleontology's great unfinished puzzles, a creature built like a nightmare, that very likely lived like nothing more than an oversized, leaf-eating giant, quietly reaching for the treetops of the Cretaceous.